I hope you guys can be able to see my screen. If someone
Yes,
can see my screen. Okay, great.
yes.
Nice one. So someone I think said that they are very new to Python and this is their first time trying to learn Python. So feel most welcome and let's start and see what we're going to do today. So today the session is prepared on just Python basics, syntax, variables, and data types. But we're going to start from installing Python itself and then we start coding. I hope it will be fun. Okay. Okay, good. So before even we start the installation of the Python, I want us to know what is really is Python. Um, so Python is just a high level interpreted and general purpose programming language. And we mostly use it or personally use it because it is really simple and it has nice readability. Like it's easy to read through the codes, and not like most other languages. Some of the key features of Python is, as I said, easy to learn and it's readable. It's an interpreted language. That means we don't need a compiler to execute the code. Also, it works in different platforms like Windows, macOS, Linux, and also it has a lot of libraries that can be used for various tasks. And we'll be able to use some of the libraries, I hope, during towards the end of these training sessions. We'll be able to see some of the libraries that we're going to use in Python. And also it is object oriented and also functional oriented so that it can support multiple programming paradigms. So what can we really use Python for? So someone can ask, yes, I can learn Python, then I just learn it, then what can I use it for? Um, the first thing that we can use Python for is web development. Actually, I could have even you started with data science and machine learning because I know most of us have a background in applied statistics, and we are going to align ourselves with the data science and machine learning, most of us. And some will just try to learn web development, but we can follow through this one. So we have can be used for web development. Uh, as I said, also data science and machine learning. Also, we can do what we call automation and scripting. And this, we normally do it in file handling, data scraping, email automations. We can also use it for testing and system administrations. Also, Python is being used, is being used for game development. We also use Python for cybersecurity and ethical hacking. And this is where we utilize tools such as SCAPI and PWN tools. It's also used for Internet of Things, IoT, and some of us who have heard the word Raspberry Pi can attest to this. Also, it is being used in finance and fintech, and this is whereby they use it for stock market analysis. Uh, for example, it can be used actually in risk assessment before someone make a decision of whether to enter the market or not. Also being used in making desktop applications. Okay, so I will go ahead and for those of us who don't have yet installed Python, and I will recommend you to install or after this, someone can try to install Python using Anaconda. And this is actually pretty easy to use. I have attached a link here. I'm going to send the notebook after the session, and then you can be able to download it. But also, I would like for those of us who already have Python to follow through the codes as I code, you can also code, or as you go through the codes that I already have, then you can also do something on your side. And I believe that for you to learn coding or programming is by practice. So if you practice from the other end, then you're going the right direction. So there are various ways that we can install Python. And as I said, I'll recommend Anaconda. So I have included the link here. If you click on the link, um, it takes us to a new page. I hope someone can see that we have gone to or being redirected to the Anaconda download page. So once you get there, you can skip the registration and you can download if you're using Mac, Linux. Most of us use Windows, so you can download this one. However, it takes a lot of time to download because it is size almost 1 GB. So you need to allow it to download. And once it has downloaded, you follow the instructions on the installation file. And then once you've installed, you can open the Anaconda, and this is how it looks. This is how it looks. Okay, Magdalene. Yeah, I see your hand is raised.
Yeah, I'm
Mhm.
following. I'm one of those who know nothing about Python. Do you mind
Okay.
sharing the link in the chat so that I can
Yes,
just
yes, yes,
click
yes.
and download directly?
Yes,
Nice.
yes, yes. Sure, sure, sure.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so I have shared the link on the chat. Someone can Yes, I will definitely do send the notebook after we are done with the session. I also was thinking to send it right now as we're ongoing with the session. But I think also if we get it after, it will be good one. Okay, so I've shared the link to download the Python, the Anaconda. It comes in with it's a full package. So once you've installed it, I don't know if someone can see the other screen where I've opened Anaconda Navigator. I hope someone can see that.
I don't know what Anaconda Navigator is, but I'm seeing download now Anaconda installers. That's what I'm seeing.
Okay, then I need to reshare my screen. Okay, great. Okay, this one.
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay,
Anaconda Navigator.
okay. So this is the Anaconda. It comes with a lot of tools that we can use. But for now, I recommend us to use Jupyter. So this is commonly um, an interactive notebook, Python notebook that I use for coding because from the word interactive, it allows me to do an interactive sessions through the coding. So I can have my code and also I can include text inside, not really inside the codes, but different cells. And then I can have something like explaining what I'm doing in the code. Other people use also Spider. It also can be used to write your code. And also for those who have done R, I can see there is R here. So you can come and launch from here, or if it's not installed, you install it. But today is not R. I think Dr. Thomas will get you through that. So I'm here for Python. So this is what I like about Anaconda. So you just open the Anaconda. So you go to your search bar on your desktop, and then you search Anaconda, and then it opens. These opens, and then you can come here and launch. So once you click on launch, it opens. It opens on your web browser, on your primary web browser. If you're using Chrome, Microsoft Edge, or Firefox as your primary web browser, that is where the Python is going to open, and then you can create a new file. Okay, so I will stop sharing for this one and then go back to what we were sharing, what we are talking about. So that is detailed here. So once you have installed the Anaconda Navigator, and then you said you can launch Jupyter Notebook from what I showed you there on the Navigator. And then If you want to check the version of the Python that you have, you can do that using the command prompt. There's also another way of installing Python. I can do it manually, but I won't recommend that one. But this other one that I will also show you is going direct to the Python website. So I have also attached a link there that I'll send you after this session. But I can send, I think, this link right now. Someone can download it. Where will I access the notebook? I think I need to talk to the organizers so that they can let me know where I can send the notebook. Or I can also attach, I think Zoom allows someone to attach a file. I'll try to attach a file here and then you can have it. So this is also where you can download the Python now, but this is not the one you're going to use Jupyter Notebook with. You have to do something extra. So for this one, you come and download this file. So once you download the file, you install it. After installing it, if you go to your search bar on your desktop and search Python, you're going to have something that looks like a command prompt. I think I need to share my whole window so that someone can see how I'm navigating through these. Let me see how to do that. Okay, I think this one is okay. Okay. I think this one allows me to show you how I'm navigating through these my desktop. So once you come and search Python and you open it, it opens like a CMD command prompt. And here you can write your code and you have the output. For example, I can type print.
I'm not able to see the screen.
You cannot see my screen.
Because I heard you say you have opened the prompt and I cannot see. It's still on the Chrome web page.
Okay, let me check again. I thought I shared the whole. Let me try and share my whole screen. I think this one will work. I really hope so it works. Okay, can someone now see command prompt thing?
Yes, it's clear
Okay,
now.
great. Okay, thank you. So I think I got it. So I was saying here, you can write your Python code from, for example, say you can print anything. You can print hello. And then you want to run it, you just enter. Oh, sorry, I did something wrong there. Print. And then you see it prints hello. So it also works from here. But this one, I don't recommend it because somehow you can't, if you run your code and you get an error, you can't go back and edit it. So that is why you need something like Jupyter Notebook. We can also use Spider. You can go back and edit your code and then run it again. Okay. So, but you can run your code from anywhere. For example, also you can use the command prompt at the CMD to run your code from there. That is if you've already Python installed. But for you to do that, you have to call Python first. So you call Python, and then even it tells me that, yeah, my Python is of version 3.12.2. And then now here, from here, I can type print hello world. then it works the same. So you can also use the PowerShell. They all work the same, but I won't really recommend that one. So we can go back to our sorry, here. So this is a notebook file. Whatever that you're seeing here, it's called a Jupyter notebook file, and it has an extension of .ipynb, and that is for interactive Python notebook. Interactive Python notebook. Like for example, you have .csv, that is comma separated files, but this one has an extension of .ipynb. So how do you create a very new Python notebook? So once you run or you launch your notebook from the Anaconda here, I hope you can see how I'm navigating through my my desktop, right?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. So once you launch your notebook from here, or once you've installed all that I've showed you, you can just come to your search bar and then type Jupyter. And then it is here. So what you do, you just click on it. And once you click on it, it brings you to your web browser. And it will bring me to this way it opens to. So what you need to do, you are having multiple things there. So actually it brings you to where you have desktop, downloads, contacts, documents, and everything. But now where do I want to work with my file from? Mine, I want to work it from desktop for easier accessibility. So what do? I've already created a folder in the desktop, and my folder is here. So I locate it, and then from here, if this is the place that I want to open my new notebook, then you go to new, and then you click Python 3. And then it is going to open a blank notebook, a very new and blank notebook. And then from here, you can do your codes and everything. But then you're going to rename your notebook and say, maybe my first Python session. And then you say rename, okay? And then you can start coding bit by bit, and then you get there. So Python, all these, the interactive notebook, it saves changes automatically. Once you've created your folder to that path, I mean your file to that path that you've specified, that is from here, we went all to my folder where I've created it, and then I created my very new notebook file. This is how it looks like. So I hope someone has gotten how to open a very new Jupyter notebook file. So you need to go to new, and then you go to Python, and then you click on it, and then it creates a new one. And that is how you create your very new notebook. So there are very few things that you want to know. So this is called a cell. This is called a cell. So once it is like this, here you can check here, it's a code. You can write a code. Okay, you can write a code here. And then if you want to run it, you click here, run, and then it prints, you see, it prints here, hello world. If I want to go back and change something, I can change and say, hello, Vincent. And then you can edit easily. That is why I recommend a notebook to write your codes from. Also, something else that I need to tell you about this notebook is you want to know how to, yes, Magdalene.
While you're typing, are you typing the brackets too, and the apostrophes, and the comma, or you just typed hello, Vincent?
Okay, thank you. So there are built-in functions in Python, and we're going to deal with that in upcoming sessions. But when you print is one of the built-in functions in Python. So if I only type print and then I click an opening bracket, it just brings me the other bracket, the other closing bracket. So I don't type the other closing bracket. But this hello Vincent is a string. And we're going to talk about strings and something like that. And we need to enclose them in quotes. So that's how to write strings. Also, I really hope that is how we write strings in R as well. We have to enclose them in quotes. So this one, I included them. I included the quotes, the exclamation mark, and the comma as well. And then you just run it. Yes. And then you click run the cell. But there are shortcuts to do this. You don't need to go and click on run. You don't need to go, maybe you want to add a new cell, for example, here. I need to go here on this plus side, plus here, and then click on it. You see, it adds a new cell. Okay, so this is cutting. It's like the cut, the normal cut, copy and paste, cut, and something like that. So this is for copying a cell. And also pasting. So this one, if I wrote if this cell here, I want to move it down or up, I'm going to use this one. So it moves down. Or I want to move up, it moves up, wherever I want it to be. Okay. But all these, there are some more shortcuts that we need to use. For example, if I want to add a new cell, I'm going to click A. So A on your keyboard just adds a cell below. B just adds a cell above. Okay, maybe you need to see this one here. So if I click on B, it adds a cell below. If I click on A, it adds a cell above our current cell. If I want to delete this cell, I have to click on double D. So all these shortcuts, you're going to get them on help. You go to help and then you go to keyboard shortcuts and you're going to find all of them here. For example, the one that I was telling you, insert cell above, insert cell below, cut, copy, and all that. You're going to find them, all of them here. So I think that is very clear enough. I see we're running out of time and we have a lot that we need to cover today. And I really hope that we can have 10 more minutes, the one that we waited for the other people to join, so that we can cover something great. Okay. So now that we have done that, we want to we'll start with Python syntax. So what is a syntax? Someone is going to ask you, what is a syntax? So syntax is just a set of rules that defines how a program is written and interpreted by a programming language. And for Python, we said, Python actually, it is known for its simple and readability, readable syntax. It's very easy. You can see and tell what someone is doing. For example, here, we said print. You're going to know that we said we're going to print. And what are we going to print? We're going to print hello Vincent or hello world. It's really easy to, it's very simple and readable. Now, we have the basic Python syntax rules. For example, the first one, Python is very case sensitive. The same applies to R. For example, here we have, this is a variable. We're going to know what is a variable in just a few minutes. We have name, which here we started with a small n. And this variable, we assigned the string Alice. And we have also a name, is another variable, but with capital N, and we assigned name. If we're going to print this, we're going to have two different outputs. If you want to see this, if it's making sense, so let's do this. Okay, let me comment this one. You're going to learn how to comment. So let me comment that one. And here also, let me comment this one. Oh, sorry. And here, I'm going to have n. And then I say print name. Sorry, this comes from the other one that we had. Let me. Let me go with something very simple. Okay, you see, you're going to get an error because X is not defined. Why? Because here I've used capital X in the print, but here when I was assigning the variable, I used small x. And most of the times, even in R, when you're going to do that, you're going to get an M error that your variable is not being defined. And when you're writing a lot of codes, sometimes you mistake and do some small mistakes with the cases, and that is when you get an error, and then maybe you spend whole night trying to debug something that is not there. Okay, great. Also, as part of the syntax, we have indentation. So this comes when you're doing things like the if loop, if else statements, you're writing functions. And when you're writing a function, or you're writing an if statement, you're writing loops like for loop, while loop, you need to do indentation. And if you don't indent well, and then you're going to get an error. Okay. So you see this one works correctly, but now let's see this one. This one, it won't work. Why? Because this is an if statement and we are trying not to do proper indentation. However, in Python, once you do the colons, this automatically tells Python to do indentation. So if I was to write, for example, this here, and do that, it automatically does the indentation. But somehow, if you're writing your code and you mistakenly don't do that, or you do some slight mistake, and then Python doesn't do the automatic indentation, then I'm going to get an error. For example, this one here. Let me uncomment and then run. And then this is the error you're going to get. And then it tells you which error is it. It is, and this is indentation error. Okay. I hope up to there, everyone is following. And then we have statements in Python. So also the Python, they're very easy. It's something that you can see how it is being worked on. However, it's being recommended that we write our statements line by line. Each line of code or each line in Python to contain a single statement. Even though it works, for example, this one, it works, but somehow when you're going to write a lot of codes, you're going to make errors when you're going to do that. We're going to write all your codes in one line. However, this one, it's very easy to see and also to read. Very easy. But this one, somehow, you might be a little bit confused, but it works. Also, we have something we call line continuation. You can write a lot of codes and you feel like this code it has gone to, I don't know, towards the end of your cell, and you don't want that. So what you do, normally we use the backslash. So like here, I've done this total, but maybe I was adding a lot of numbers. So what I do is trying to use the backslash, and then it works. If I run that one, it works. And also you can use parentheses. This is also another commonly way that you can use for line continuation. Now, how do we do comments in Python? You've heard me saying, I want to comment here. What we use in Python to do your comment is hash. And comments, we all know, for those who have done R or any other programming language, you know that comments are not executed. They're not executable. So what Python does, it just goes through over your comments, but it doesn't execute them. It just kind of jumps over them. It's like telling Python, do nothing on this line. And this is how we've done it. So you use a comment, hashtag. However, sometimes you may want to describe something in your code and you want to use multiple lines. So what can you do? You can use the quotes. So you can use it's called triple quotes. So you can use this, how can I call them? It's not an apostrophe, but the single quotation mark. So you use them, 3 of them, and then you have your comment as easy as that. Instead of going by every line, putting an hashtag every line, you have your whole thing looks like a bit of jargon things. So you want to make your code, you want to make it in a way that someone else can read it and understand what you did. So this is a good way of doing multiple line of comment. You're using triple quotes. Okay, now it's time for quiz. So who can identify the error in this line of code? Someone looking at the chart? Yes, Daniel.
Yes, I think the error is because of the print function is on the same alignment with the if statement. So we need to push it slightly inside, maybe by two spaces.
Yes, that is very, very okay, Daniel. Thank you, Daniel, for that. So what is wrong with this our code is that if we run it like this, pretty sure we're going to get an indentation error. So what do we do? So some people do count. I don't know, someone says you count 5 times, but I don't want to do that. So what I do, I just backspace and then I enter. So Python automatically does the indentation for me. But however, you can count the spaces, but I won't recommend that. So you just backspace and enter, and then you get your program working correctly. So there's another quiz. So who will tell me what this will print? We are still in the basics thing. So what is it going to print here? So what is the expected output of this print function here, of this line of code? Someone? Looking at the chat was 15. Great, 15. Are you sure it is 15? 15. Okay, great. So this is just simple mathematics, right? So yeah, I'm sure. Great. Yeah, it's very easy. Just x has been assigned 5. Then now we have a y, which we are assigning it as x plus 10. So if we take our x, which is 5, so 5 plus 10 is going to give us 15. So well done. I think we are together in this. Any questions so far for this part that we have covered? Any question? Okay, I think there is no question, so we can proceed. So let's go to variables and data types. So what is a variable? I think we have had this name variable. We are assigning this variable to something. It contains something. So basically, a variable is a name storage location, and we use it to hold a value in the memory. And that is what is a variable. Okay, so for example, we're saying that if you don't need to, you don't need to declare a variable type explicitly. Python automatically determines the data types when you assign a value. For example, Python knows that 10 or a whole number is an integer. And if we say x is 10, is assigned 10, then Python knows that you are assigning an integer of value 10 to x. And here, Python knows that we are assigning a string called Alice to the name. Then now what are data types? Even now we have started talking about data types. So a data type is actually the kind of value a variable can store. Do you see how these two are related? We just came from variables and then you have to data types. So Python actually has numerous built-in data types. But the common ones in Python, we have integers, and these are just the whole numbers. We have floats, the decimal numbers, and then we have strings, these are text data, and most of the time we use them in quotes. And we have Boolean, the bool. It's a Boolean value that is true or false. We have list, that is called an ordered mutable collection. So when you say mutable, it means it can be modified. But we have a tuple that looks kind of like a list. It's ordered as well, but it is immutable, meaning we can't modify a tuple. And have a dictionary, which you call dict, and these contains key value pairs. So we're going to look at that in the coming sessions. So now let's see how we are assigning variables. And here in Python, we assign variable using the equal sign operator. However, I know in R, we use, I think I'm right. We use this sign, and also you can use the equal sign, right? So we use this sign in R and also use the equal sign in R. But in Python, if you want to assign a variable, values to a variable, we use the equal sign. For example, here X, we've assigned 10, which is an integer. Pi, we have assigned the value 3.14, which is a float. And also here you can check the Boolean that you have assigned true. So if we print this one, we print X, we print pi, the name, we're going to get what we assigned it to. So like here we assign X being assigned 10 pi 3.1, name Alice, is Python fun. True or not true? For me, I think it's true. That is why I went with true. Now, how do you check a data type? For example, you want to know what the value or the variable that you have of which data type is it. For example, here, if I want to know the data type of X, I will just type X, and then you run that, and then
Mention
yes.
that ilikuwa imeandika print.
Sorry. Okay, so if you want to know the data type of the variable that you're having or the value you have, you use the type function. And here we have checked the type of X and we have found it to be an integer. And we can also check with these other ones, and then we can find that the 10 is a whole number, so we are going to get an integer. 3.14 is a decimal, so you're going to get a float. Hello, it's being used in quotes. It's going to be a string, and it's going to be a bool. So if we run that one, we're going to get exactly that. And now, if I want to work with these different data types, what can I do? I need to do conversions. I can do a conversion. For example, I can convert, okay, I can have 100 in string, 100 in quotes. So if I have 100, this number, it's a number. Of course, you can see this as a number, but once it is enclosed in quotes, then it automatically becomes a string, or Python reads that as a string. So what can I do if I have, or I'm working with these kind of values or variables? The first thing that I want to do, I want to make sure that I'm having the correct data type. So I'm going to do a conversion. Now, how do I convert it? So we just use the function int. So int, you use the int, and then you input the variable that you have. So what it does, it automatically converts that. So you are telling Python to read this variable as an integer, and you're doing that with this int function. And also we have now pi is 3.14. Even though automatically Python knows this is a float, if you want to convert this one to an integer, is like you are telling Python to truncate these decimal parts. So you're going to have a whole number. And if you do that, you're going to end with a 3, because integers are whole numbers, and it doesn't do rounding off. So what it does, it truncates. And now we have a bool value of 1. So we have 1. So we tell Python that change this 1 to a Boolean. Because if you just only have 1, Python knows that that is an integer because it's a whole number. So what do? You want to tell Python, hey Python, can you change this to a Boolean? So what do? We use the bool function. And Python knows that 1 is equivalent to true. So if it sees a 1 somewhere and you are telling it to convert it to a Boolean, what it does, it converts 1 to true. And if it's a 0 and you want to convert that 1 to a Boolean, then it becomes false, right? Great. So we have done all that and you have converted them, and this is what we have. So we have the special data types, that is the lists, which I said is you can modify it. So you can create a list in Python. I don't want to touch them, say a lot about the lists. We are going to have a session to talk about this list, how we can go our way around these lists in Python. And most of the time you're going to find, not most, but all the time you're going to find that lists are enclosed by the square brackets. So lists are always enclosed in square brackets. However, tuples are enclosed in the round brackets. Yes, Brighton.
From the look of things, is there a difference between a list and array in Python?
Between?
List and array.
Between a list and an array.
Yeah.
Yes, there's a difference. When you're talking about lists, we are talking about data types, right? But what it contains inside the list and the array can be the same, but the way that we're going to work our way through the list and the array is different. For example, an array, we're going to, those are mathematical operations. We're going to conduct mathematical operations in it, and we're going to need something like NumPy so that we can work our way through it. But in lists, we are not going to work our way using NumPy. This is just the data type. And sometimes when we want to remove, for example, we want to remove an element from a list, we have some built-in functions to do that. So basically, they are not the same. They are different. But from the look of things, if you just look at them, you might think there's an array. But then an array, sometimes we have a 1D array, we have 2D array, we have 3D array, we have 4D array. So it is not really the same, because a list is just an ordered collection of elements or of objects. But in an array, we can have different kinds of an array, 1D, 2D, 3D. They are not the same. And an array doesn't need to be ordered, but a list is ordered. I think that one is clear. And sorry, when I talk about 1D array, I think we're going to see that. So this one can be a 1D array. So when you're talking about 2D array, so you're going to have an enclosing bracket like this, and then you're going to have small enclosing brackets like this. We're going to have 2 elements in that small one. So two elements for 2D, but because it is 1, we don't need to enclose it. So we're going to have 3 of them. We do exactly like that. 3 of them with a square bracket in it, comma, 3 of them in a square bracket like it. So that's why we talk about 1D array, 2D array, 3D array, and you can have as many arrays as you want.
Vincent?
Great. Yes.
Brighton's hand is up. Brighton, just unmute and ask your question.
I'm already answered. Sorry.
Okay, great. I'm glad that you answered your question. So what people can confuse is lists and tuples. lists and tuples, but a small difference from even the look of things. So tuples are enclosed in the round brackets, the normal brackets that we know. So we are not going to talk much about them. However, when we're going to come to working with lists, we're going to see how to do that. And now also we have the dictionaries. We're going also to see them, how to work our way around dictionaries. And a dictionary actually is a little bit different from lists and tuples, because a list contain a key and a value. And from even the word, just the dictionary. So it contains, so the key stores the value. So you want to access the value of a particular value from that dictionary, you have to call the key. Okay. So you want to access a value inside your dictionary, you need to call your, so this is called value and this is called the key. So if I want to access these Alice, I need to call the key, which is name. Okay. And if you run that one, you're going to get that one. So from this list, from this dictionary, I mean, and I want to access Alice, so I need to call the name, which is the key. But we're going to see that when we come to that one. So here is something to see through. It's really very easy. So maybe I'll also need to watch the chat and see how people are responding to it. Okay, so what is the type of X? We have done this, and so I hope that people are just going to answer this very quickly so that I can move forward. So what is the data type of X? And let me maybe add something here. Okay, we have an answer for that one. What about Y? So it will be easier if you just type Y string, for example, like that. The other one is valid, is wherever. So you type Z is a float. Nice one. I see Brighton and Boaz are very active. So what about A? Nice one, Boaz. So what about A? What is the data type of A? A is a string. Okay, what about B? What is the data type of B? Someone. B is a float. B is a float. Okay, great. So I think you guys, you're really good at this. Yes. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, James. Thank you, Brighton. Thank you, everybody who have participated. So let's check another one. So what will happen here? I think, okay. So what will happen here? If you run this code, what will happen? I'm watching the chat, or someone can unmute and tell us what is going to happen here. Anyone? Someone? Was Brighton? Okay. Yes. Output is 30. Someone was talking. Who was that? Brighton or was, or 25 plus 5, 30. Okay.
Can I answer it?
Yeah, sure, you can answer. Mercy. This is interesting. Okay.
I think it will result to an error because if you see num, you have defined it as a string and you are adding it to an integer. So first, I think we'll have to convert that 25 to be an integer.
Great. Thank you. How was that talking again? I can't really check it. Maybe you can.
Taylor.
Okay, great. So thank you. Also, thank you, Mercy. Thank you, Lois, George, and Boaz, and everybody who has contributed. So here, remember we said Python, once you put anything in a string, Python knows that that is, once you put anything in a quotation mark, Python automatically knows that this is a string. Now, what we are doing here, we are taking num, which is like, let me write, is like saying like that. I'm saying 25 plus 5. So what I'm trying to do is I'm taking the string and I'm adding to an integer. So automatically, I'm going to get an error because you can't do a basic addition operation of an integer and a string. And yes, we get an error. Okay. So to correct that one, we said we need to do the conversion. So someone said conversion. So, and we have done that. So we have converted, we can do int just to force Python to know that this is not a string, but we meant this to be an integer. And then if we run this one, we are going to get an answer that was said. Any question up to that point? We're almost done. We're almost done. Today was just kind of getting introduced, getting ready. So yeah, just basically learning the basic things in Python. And once you understand, yes, Daniel.
Okay, my question is, in Python, can we multiply a string with an integer?
Can you do a multiplication of a
yeah.
string? Yes, you can do that, but now it depends on how you put it. You can get because when you do a multiplication, you're going to get. Let's do this so we can see that one, what I'm trying to say. For example, let's take so you see, so this is what it does. You can do that, but what it is giving you is not what you expect. I mean, like for example, you're going to expect, like if I take 5 times 5, I get 25. So this one, what it's doing, it is taking, is like you're telling Python, hey Python, can you print for us boy 5 times? So it is going to print boy. But it's literally what I think what you meant is, can it give you something? Yes, it can give you something, but not maybe kind of the normal operation that we know, addition, subtraction, multiplication, that we do on numbers, because those one works when you're dealing with numbers and not with two different data types. And for this instance, this is what it works. Yes, it prints something, but of course you can interpret what it has given you. It's like you're telling Python, hey my friend, can you print boy 5 times for me, 10 times, something like that. Also, this works the same in R. Okay. I think I've answered your question. Okay. Your hand is raised again, Daniel.
Yes. I have a question. Like from Jupyter Notebook, we can see that it saves the file with an extension of IPYNB, and maybe I think Python files are saved with the extension of
PY.
yeah.
PY.
How can we then convert these Jupyter Notebook file into .py?
Yes, yes,
sorry.
you can do that. You can do that. So basically say this is I, P, Y, and B. There is a Python in between these extension, but what we are calling this one is an interactive Python notebook. So that means I'm running it here, I'm getting an error, and then I can do what? I can immediately change there and run it again. Okay. And I see the output just there. So of course, this one, you can have an .py, that is a Python script from it. And I'm going to show you how to do that. So you go to file, and then you can have, you can go to download, and then you can have .py. So you can get a .py or a Python script if you want to do that. Okay, so we said you're going to finish by 9:10, but I only need 5 minutes. If you can allow me that, we finish about these input and output in Python, and then we are done with today. And then if you have any other question, we can do that, okay? Thank you. So now what is an input or output? Output, of course, we have seen it already here. So this is an output. This is an output of the code that we've written. So an input is actually, we just kind of, if you're doing an input in Python, is like you're telling the user to provide data so that Python can use that data to print out a particular output, depending on the prompt that you're giving it. Okay, this one is just what we have done there already. It's just all these are outputs. So we already know what is an output. Let me jump to sorry, I think there's something that I missed here, but yeah, I missed something. Yeah, this was supposed to come earlier there, but yeah, let's say our output here, we have this output that is Alice name, Alice age 25. So we want to format this output using an F string. So an F string, this means that F is for formatting. So I want to make it look very nice. So what do I do? Before, after I write the print function, then immediately I write an F and then followed by quotation. Then I can write my name is, so this one is what I've written, but this name here is from the variable. And I want to include this name in my print function so that it can give me the variable that the value of the variable. I use the curly brackets. And then write other statement that I want. And then age is again from the assigned variable here. And then I also have to use the curly brackets. So if I run that one, this is what I'm going to get. It's something that is really nice and easy way to read rather than this one, okay? So we use an F string format to make your code or your output to be easily read. And you can attest this from here. This one you can easily read rather than this one, right? Now let's ask a user to give us an input. So to do that, we use the input function. It allows us to enter strings. So just only input, it allows us to enter strings. So for example, we say name, and then we say input. So we're asking Python to tell that person to input something. And what are we telling Python to ask the person, the user to enter is enter your name. And then from here, now we're going to print hello. So you can realize here, I haven't used the F string, so I don't need to use the curly brackets. I can call the name like that, the variable. So you can check the difference. Here I use the curly brackets, I've used the F, the formatting string, and here I haven't used it, so I can just call it like that. So let's see. Let's run this one. So let me say Boaz. So hello Boaz, just as easy as that. So you can ask Python, we can write a code to tell Python to ask you something, and then from there, you can input whatever that you want. Okay, and then let's run this one. It also works the same. We are asking Python we are writing a code to tell Python to ask you your name and your age, and then we print that one. So for example, I don't know, let's say Jace, right? So what is the age? Maybe 20. So hello Jace, you are 20 years old. And I hope that is very true. So that is how it works, the input that we have been talking about. But now, how can you handle different data types? For example, you have integers, you have floats. How do you do that? So input only works with strings. It only takes whatever that you put in there, it is Python reads that one as a string. But now here, if I want to tell Python to input my my age to come as an integer, I really have to tell Python that. For example, this one, let's try and see what is the type. The type of age and see. So you see, it's a string. It's a string because input only allows strings. Like if you're using the input function, it just works with the strings. And maybe at some point, I may want to take that variable and do some arithmetic operations in it, and it won't work because it is read as a string. So what do? We tell, hey, Python, now I want you to do something else. So what are we going to do? Let's add an integer. Let's tell you to read that, whatever that I'm going to give you as an integer. But don't forget, we need to use the input function. So the input is actually what is asking the user to enter something. But we need to tell Python to make that one to be an integer. So we use an integer from behind it. So we say integer, then brackets input, then enter your age. Okay, so if we do that, and then we enter maybe 30, so you're going to say you are 30 years old. So let's see what is the type. What is the type of age? And now you're going to get an integer, and this was a string. But because we have kind of converted that string to an integer. And that also works the same with float. You want to do that as a float. So maybe 8, let's say 1.75 meters. So this one is float. If you do the type, you're going to get the height is going to be a float, as you can see here. And I hope that is clear. So we can try something before we go there. So I tried to do this. We can write a program, that calculates the perimeter of a particular land. And here, what I've told Python is that we're going to print this one on a new line. So this one is like telling Python, hey, print that on a new line. And then here I have included the formula for calculating the perimeter of a rectangle. So it is 2 times length plus width. And that is what I've done here by taking these, what we get from the user, and then we're going to print it here. So F format, the curly brackets comes in, but here you see I've used 2F. So this means you're going to tell Python, hey Python, I don't want to see a lot of values. So I only want to see only 2 significant figures to that thing that I'm going to do. For example, let's say meters, I don't know, 100.576 maybe. And then the width can be around 50.5. Then now you see the perimeter of that land is going to be this one, but 2 significant figures. The same happens when you want to do the area of a circle, let's say that one, and then you're going to find that your area of a circle as that one. I think that was good. And now we have the Boolean as well. So you can input. So this one we input. So we want to have a Boolean output. So Python does not actually have a direct Boolean input. But however, we can do a conversion manually. And this is what we have done here. So let's do this. Let's run this and then see. So do you like Python? Yes or no? So maybe yes. And then you see now Python brings that one as a boolean. Okay, nice. So little time for a quiz and then we are done. So who will guess the output of this code? It's just pretty easy, right? Yeah, okay, great. I see people are very active. Yes, Charlie is 28 years old. So we have taken consideration of that one. The last question. Okay, so this one. So somebody can tell me what is wrong here. Somebody. So we are having age and you're asking Python to give us we're telling Python to ask someone to give their age, right? And then you are taking that age, you want to double the age. So you're taking the age by 2. Okay, let's try something. So we say my age maybe is 35, right? So if you want to double that, this is what we get. And that is now why I told you the multiplication, it works, yes, but not the way that we expect it to work, the normal multiplication way, because double 35 is 70, but now it's giving us 35. But because this input takes anything as a string, and now Python, what it does, it just takes the age and then it gives us like not the double the age, but it's just yes, Nicholas. But now it's giving us how can I call this? Writing or printing the age twice. That is what Python does. The multiplication, yes, it works. It doesn't give you an error like the addition, but it works differently. It gives you something else, not the expected thing that you were supposed to get. Okay, so thank you all. And I think somebody got that one right. And if you want to fix that, of course, we said you just use the int. And if you do that and you enter 35, you're going to get your correct age as 70. So that is the end of our first session. I took a lot of your time. However, we started 10 minutes late, but I also taken your 10 minutes. So sorry for the people who were here by 8 p.m. Next time you can do better. So next time you're not going to do the installation thing. And if someone has a problem with installing, you can reach me out. I can share my email here. And if you want something, you can write me an email and we can chat over there and I can maybe help you out your problem. So if you have any question, this is the time to ask. If there are no any questions, I would like to see you next week, same place, same time. And then this time round, we're going to see operators and control flow. And as we're going to see the if-else statement. So thank you all. May God bless you. Now, I may want to give this back to Magdalene and then maybe Doctor.
Thank you so much, Vincent. Someone asked how they're going to get the slides. How will you share them?
So this notebook, yes, I want you to have it. I'm very sure it is going to help you somewhere. For those who are here, let me try if I can try to share. Okay. If I can try to share over the chat. Not sure if Python, Zoom allows me to do that.
I think Magdalene, we can look at the people who registered. And if
And that will be
if
better.
and share with us, we
Yeah.
can send to those emails.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
even
that
those
is,
who are not able to come.
yes.
Oh,
I think that is
okay.
better.
It's all right.
And
Then, if that's the case, thank you so much, Vincent, for that wonderful facilitation. I have a clue what Python is, and I know how to download it. I think that was my biggest takeaway. At least I have a foundation.
Yeah, I'm glad. I'm
Yeah.
glad you
So
can do that. Yeah.
thank you so much. So yeah, if there's no question, then I would be happy to see all of us in the next session. Yeah. Have a wonderful night. Good night.
Thank you so
you're
much.
welcome.